everybody, welcome back to another episode of whatever this is called, the podcast where we too agree that Steven doesn't count. I am Scott Taylor, here with me as always, Mr. Steven Garcia. Steve, how you doing?
I'm good. Just getting over something or getting something. I don't know what it is, but I'm absolutely fantastic for this movie. Me and Chris were just talking like how much we love this movie when we were kids. And so I'm glad that we have a guest here. So
yeah, let's introduce our special guest.
Yeah.
We have someone that has a pedigree in films from the 80s through the late 90s specifically. Mr. Christopher DeVasto. Chris, how you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it, Scott and Steve. I'm honored to be on the show and to share my useless movie trivia knowledge with you. So thank you.
You're in the right place.
Yeah.
Yeah, you specifically asked for this movie, so I'm excited to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah.
I did ask for this movie just because going back as Steve and I were talking about a little earlier, they made some questionable choices that were definitely 80s choices. And it's a little, I don't know, because it's a movie that I love. The special effects are great and there's a lot of good things in it. But it's like, I remember wanting to show this to my kids about when they were about 10. And I was like, oh yeah, I saw this. I mean, I was probably like 13 when I saw it, but I was like, there's no real violence or anything. That is not the concern here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Today we're talking about the movie The Monster Squad, which is a movie that basically asked, what if the Universal monsters rolled into a suburban neighborhood and got handled by a group of nerdy middle schoolers? It came out in '87. It bombed in theaters and then slowly mutated into a full-blown cult classic thanks to VHS and cable. Which feels like the most 80s trajectory possible. It's part horror movie, part kids adventure, part comedy, and somehow still features one of the meanest versions of Dracula ever put on screen. They didn't even have to show his wang. It's got practical effects, weirdly dark moments for kids' movies, and at its core, it's really about a bunch of outcasts forming their own little tribe while also blowing up monsters. So let's get into why this stuck around. You know, I think there's a lot of nostalgia there, right? Like you said, Chris, you remember it from being a child. I don't. The first time I saw this was as an adult. I never saw it as a kid. It wasn't in my repertoire. I didn't see it. So I've got kind of the viewpoint of, I came into this just as a horror fan and a fan of movies in general, and saw it for the first time maybe 10 years ago, 12 years ago, something like that.
Well, I would just like to say, I think as someone who knew you when you were that young in the 80s, I failed you as a mentor by not introducing you to this movie. So I apologize.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd take some ownership of it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I didn't have to kind of squeeze it out of you.
It's just known. I mean, you were probably listening to Phil Collins or watching wrestling, and
nice.
Or that was your thing.
Yeah. Little backstory here. I once threatened to beat Chris with a tire iron because he made me late for watching WrestleMania on pay-per-view because we were going to see The Cutting Edge.
Is that the toe pick one?
Yeah.
The toe pick? Oh, nice. Love that.
There's a little backstory for you also. Steve, where do you come in with Monster Squad, Steve? Is it a childhood thing for you?
Yeah. I saw it, let's see, twice in the movie theater, probably within because I think it was only in the theaters for a couple of weeks, maybe even a month at the most. But
yeah.
I saw it twice. I saw it over here at the Coddingtown Cinemas, and my uncle took me. He took me to all my movies when I was young, and I loved it from the first because it has that kind of I don't know, that look of like a one of those what do you call them, tentpole movies. It just had everything to it. It had the kids. It had the music because at the time, it's cheesy. I watched it last night again, and it's a lot of cheesy music in it. But that was the time, And
Yeah.
as a kid, you're like, rock until you drop, whatever it is, and you
The
just got into
Monster
it.
Squad rap. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a Monster Squad rap at the end. I mean, really. And
yeah. Go
so let
ahead.
me ask you this:
Yeah.
what like movies of today would you kind of compare this to vibe wise? Like to me, it was like Brendan Fraser's The Mummy, like that kind
Yeah.
of vibe where it's
Yeah.
a little bit of everything and fun.
Yeah, I would say like, oh wow, that's a good question. Like today, I think this is the kind of vibe that Stranger Things is going for. I don't necessarily think it reaches that because I think now that's so wrapped up in nostalgia that becomes its own like selling point for Stranger Things. And I mean, did you guys see the last season of Stranger Things at all? I know
Yes.
Scott did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still struggling to get into it. I'll watch an episode and I'll just be like, oh wait, what is that referring to? And so that's on me though. That's not the quality of it, but so I would say like maybe that's the closest thing, but
Okay.
I don't know. I'd have to sit and think about it because there's a part of this is like because this was sold as like Goonies but with monsters.
Right.
The thing about Goonies is that I related more to the Goonies kids than I do to these kids, but that's only because I come from kind of where the Goonies kids were coming from, like kind of broken homes and all this kind of stuff. But the Monster Squad was more. I liked it just more of because I always wanted to be in a gang as a kid. I always wanted to have like friends and like, yeah, and just have a common thing that we all kind of like.
Nicknames.
Yeah,
Right.
and so that's why the Monster Squad for me was like, yeah, I'm into yeah, I love all that stuff, that supernatural stuff. Which is, I consider it more fantasy than I do like horror or whatever. So
I think it was great if you're like me, I was really into horror movies as a kid. I loved
yeah,
Stephen King, Dean
yeah,
Koontz. And so it was like this acceptable horror where it was scary, but not like freaking out like The Thing or something like that, where you're like, oh my God. Um, and it was kids. I
yeah,
don't think, to your point, like Goonies, they really fleshed out the characters. I would really say one of the main reasons I can say that is Horace, known as Fat Kid,
yeah.
literally his best friends call him Fat Kid for the entire movie. This
Oh
kid,
man, fat kid farted. Yeah,
Fat Kid farted. Like this kid is in therapy already, and I feel for that young man so
that that
hard rewatching that.
That's interesting that you bring that up because I have a couple of things that I want to, like a segment that I want to bring up later on. But it pertains to that what you just said about fat kid or Horace. Jeez,
Yeah.
now I'm fat shaming him. So
Right. But here's my whole thing is I mean you hear his name really at the beginning when he's getting bullied by the older brother from the Wonder Years.
yo, yeah,
And then you don't hear his name again until the end when he's holding a double barrel like army issued shotgun that hasn't ripped off his shoulder with a recoil. So besides
have thrown
that,
him
it's
through
all
that.
Fat Kid.
Yeah, it would have thrown him back through that window,
To the
that
magazine
glass
novelty
window.
store, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. How about you, Scott? Like, what when you watch it? Because I remember that we went to WonderCon back in 2010. I found a bootleg copy of this because it wasn't available. It was out of print. Is that the first time that you saw or heard about it, or?
Probably. Like
Yeah.
I know my wife had seen it as a child. She's like, oh yeah, I watched that as a kid. So she might have shown it to me even before Casey was born. So it might not have been hey, let's watch this with Casey. And it was the first time me seeing it. I think I might have seen it before then at some point.
Yeah.
But definitely adult life.
Yeah.
From there, I would. It was an interesting question from Chris about like what today movies would you kind of tie it in with, and the only thing that jumps out at me because I was thinking where I was talking about could this be remade? Could you do a remake? And I know they were thinking about one in like 2010 with Michael Bay, I believe. which has a track record of these remakes of Ninja Turtles and just all these things just not very good. My thought was current day, what's similar to it, to me it jumps out like Jumanji. Because
that's good.
You've got some, that found family kind of aspect to it. You've got them thrown into danger, and they have to kind of come together as a team and fight these things. So that's kind of what jumped out at me. Jumanji, I could see them remaking it with, Jack Black, of course, would have to be in it. Maybe he'd be Dracula or something like that. If they would go a different route, we wouldn't get as dark of a Dracula. But I have a feeling Jack Black would be in there somewhere.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, just a quick call out. Stan Winston, who came to fame from doing the Terminator, he also created, I believe, the Iron Man armor for Iron Man. He did the special effects. The special effects, the practical effects are great, with the exception of the tunnel that at one point tries to take them to some Netherland or Limbo. But
Limbo, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but the Wolfman looks great, who, just quick call out, Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite is...
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the first times I saw him besides the movie Running Scared, where he was a cop there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Uncle Rico is a werewolf. So
I said that to him when I went to the Napoleon Dynamite 20th anniversary or whatever, and got a photo with them. When I was going up to stand, I was like, "Oh, I got to stand next to Wolfman. And Wolfman's got nards." And some other dude in the audience was like, "Wolfman's got nards."
That's the the wolf too was modeled after Stan Winston's face. So they took his face. Yeah, they took his face and made a wolf. So when you look at it, because you look at Stan Winston and you look at the Wolfman, it's got that, he's got that. They just look alike. You could tell. Yeah. So check that out.
And the shots with the practical effects, like transitions between them and stuff, there's some beautiful shots there. The Wolfman transforming in the phone booth, it quickly goes and hits that little, metal barrier there to go around the corner, and it's already moved into it. That filmmaking is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice cuts. That scene is great, where he tries to call to warn the guy, and as the camera's circling, it's slowly showing his transformation. Yeah. It's not American Werewolf in London, but it's great for a kid's PG-13 flick.
He's gonna kill your cat.
And then absolutely.
That was awesome.
And then also shout out, I know unfortunately he recently passed, but Tom Noonan plays Frankenstein's monster in it, and he was famous for an amazing movie, Manhunter, from the 80s, based on Red Dragon. So if you like Silence of the Lambs, that was kind of the prequel. He was in, I think, Last Action Hero and also in Heat. But really, there's a ton of working actors that if you go back in that movie, I've seen that guy in 100 movies.
Yeah, that's part of my notes is, a lot of the cast, when they casted this movie, I was looking at all their kind of histories. A lot of them were they were just day players. Yeah. And, they would do an episode of Murder, She Wrote or Hardcastle McCormick. And a lot of these kids were just kind of going from here to there because they didn't really do a lot after this movie. There's a big break. I think the main character, Sean, who's Andre Gower, I think his name is. He took a big break between 90 and 09. He did a video, and then after 09, he did something else. And then in 17, he started doing bits in low budget movies and stuff. But a lot of these kids, they were just day players, and they got this role in this movie, and and then after that, they just really didn't do much.
I definitely think all the kids in it, and I will say the main kid is the typical leader. He's the son of a cop. His parents are having issues, and then his friend, I can't remember his name, but he plays kind of what I would consider the Corey Haim or the Corey Feldman from Goonies role. He's always wearing the clothes in this are amazing, by the way.
Oh yeah, the fashion. Patrick. That's who you're talking about. Patrick.
Yes, Patrick. And I would just like to say for people who weren't part of the 80s, and I don't know if it was because I was poor in the 80s, no one dressed like this. I don't remember. Maybe this was a California thing because I'm unsure where this town resides because there's a swamp. There's a very, very busy police force. That's something I think we should discuss is there's at least 25 sheriff deputies who die at the end or are severely injured. There are 2 detectives. The father in this movie is breaking up with his wife and actually says the line, and it's pretty amazing. He says to his wife, I apologize. I should have had this on a writing page. He actually says to her, I'm a cop. You knew what you bought with the package. He is a cop of a small town. How much crime is there that the marriage is already strained before the universal monsters come?
Well, the thing is, you bring up a great point about where this is supposed to take place. I heard it was supposed to be in Louisiana because at the beginning they drop all the, when they're on the plane and Dracula drops his cargo, it lands in all that, in all the bayou or whatever, and swampland, and then their clubhouse goes right up against like swamp. So I thought it was like Southern California.
There's an anaconda at one point in a tree, and then now, if you could pick a house to live in, right, from movies when you were a kid, this would have to be up there only because they have the tree house, the clubhouse, that looks like it has parts of old airplanes attached to it. Yeah. It's not just wood. Right. And then you can also go on the roof and watch a drive-in movie.
That's down in like a canyon, or it's like their house is up in like a canyon or something.
Yeah, how's the water from the swamp stay up there? Like, just physically properties. Like, I don't understand it.
And I'd like to also talk is that the main character, I think it's Sean. Sean wants to borrow $5 from his dad to go to the drive-in to see the movie. I would never allow that if I lived in a house where all I had to go to the roof. I'd be like, Sean, just go to the roof.
We have the movies at home.
Yeah. And use that transistor radio. Yeah.
Yeah. Take the binoculars, Sean, and go to the roof. I'm not giving you $5.
Was he saying, I'll take you tomorrow? We'll go see it tomorrow night. Like, is that really a big event, Dad? Like, just stepping out the window onto the roof without any sort of OSHA tethering? Like, that's really the safe thing you want to do?
Well, I would like to jump back for 1 second when, Steve, you mentioned that Dracula drops into the town from the plane. And I would just like to make a correction. Dracula doesn't drop. Richie Aprile from The Sopranos, who is the pilot of the plane, drops Dracula. Yes, Richie Aprile, folks. David Proval is the pilot of the plane there's banter between him and the co-pilot for no reason whatsoever. He comes out, sees Dracula, and then drops him. And also, did Dracula meant to get dropped there because the mummy's there and the werewolf's there?
Right.
So, like, was that a plan, or were they like? If he had gone another 100 miles, would the werewolf and the mummy be like, I got to get to Nashville. How the hell am I going to do that? Like,
he's thumbing it on the highway.
Yeah, exactly.
So you mentioned the sheriff's office, huge police force. They also have a thriving museum with the mummy.
Yeah. And
which...
Oh, go ahead, please.
Go ahead. No. I want to hear this.
I would just like to say, it's like, this is so I'm going to jump in.
Okay.
This is a theory I have. This movie is set in the Buffyverse, and they are on a Hellmouth. That is the only thing that makes sense, that they have a police force that this is this significant, that the detectives and the dad is this overworked, that also if you think about it, so they know about monsters in this universe because they have the Frankenstein costume. He talks about Dracula, so they know about it. But the mom goes to a a swap or
yeah.
a
Garage sale or something.
a garage sale. Thank you. And she's like, "Hey, I found this diary. It's by Van Helsing. He's the guy who fights Dracula." So wouldn't you be like, "Well, Mom, that's a book."
Yeah.
Or a movie.
Right.
So like, how's this real? Also, it's in German. So when did you
Right.
learn German? So many questions I have. It has to be that all these things are real on some
Right.
level in
Yeah,
this
yeah.
universe. I really feel that this is in the Buffyverse. This is a Hellmouth. It's the only thing that makes sense.
Well, and that's another thing too, is like I got Van Helsing's diary. It's like, Mom, that's a fictional character. How did you get this diary?
Right. Yeah, like, how did you get that, Mom? Did you make this? Because that would be pretty awesome if you did.
Yeah.
Like, that's a hell of a mom move to be like, "Hey, I'm going to write a diary in German to really
Yeah.
support your obsession with horror." That's pretty nice.
Hey, Mom of the
Instead-
Year over here. Yeah.
Yeah, instead she's just packing her stuff while her children are out at 11:30 at night. She is, "I am done. I am leaving everybody." Like, there's not even a bedroom check.
Yeah.
Think about that, kids. Nowadays, I check on my daughter who's 14 like every 2 hours. "Hey, where are you? What's happening?"
Yeah.
This is how it was in the 80s. This is why we are the way we are, because I guarantee you 3 days in, she would have been at a hotel, a Howard Johnson's, smoking a cig, going, "I haven't heard from Sean," or "What's my daughter's name?"
Yeah.
I don't even know, but
Yeah.
I should probably check on that.
Well, she puts a lit candle next to the kid's bed and just leaves it overnight.
Yeah. Talk about that. Talk about it. Like,
Would you ever think about, like, you don't leave a candle without leaving a room, like, just leaving it lit. You blow it out.
Yeah.
You know, like, I won't go like 10 feet away from a candle.
I've turned a car around when I'm like, "Oh, I left the candle on at home. I gotta shut that fire down. Otherwise, Kurt Russell and the Backdraft crew are going to be at my house." I mean,
Another great movie. Thank
Another
you.
great
Nice
movie.
callback.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really interesting. The parent choices in this movie, and also you think about Horace's. I'll use his name.
Thank you.
Horace's parents you never meet. Patrick's parents you never meet. Eugene, who we need to talk about that dynamic of the team.
Oh,
Why is
he
Eugene
frozen?
there? Eugene is like 7.
Frozen.
there you go.
No, sorry. Eugene is like 7 years old. Why is he hanging out with these 12-year-olds? He brings the dog, which is great.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's the thing, when he gets his dad to come into the room and says, "There's monster in my closet." Why is the mummy in that closet? Like, why did he get in the closet just to walk out again?
Yeah,
The
like,
dad's
what-
just worried about getting some. That's the only thing he's worried about. He's like, "Look, man, you're not sleeping in bed tonight, man. This is Friday. We have these appointed date nights because of therapy."
And he really speaks, I think, 3 times during the whole Eugene. He just says, "Mummy's in my closet," and then like, "Mummy was in my house" or something at the end.
And then
And
he
that's
says,
it?
"Yeah." And then he says, "Monster took my Twinkie" or something when he drops his Twinkie into the. Yeah,
Right.
he's got minimal. That's Danny Masterson's little brother, I think.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
was it Faustino's?
Oh, Faustino. That's
Faustino.
what it is. Faustino.
Oh,
The guy from Married with Children, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So that was his little brother.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
He's the one that writes the letter to the army men with clearly he doesn't know how to send a letter. He's not putting a return address on there, right? Like, that kid's not capable of that. And so they find him.
you
at
don't
the
know that,
end.
Scott. You
And
don't
it's
know
within-
that.
And it's same day service. The kid went and clearly just sent this off, same day mail apparently.
All right, son. We're all the monsters.
Tank.
Right. A tank and military. This is once again why I feel this is in the Buffy universe, because in any other universe they'd be like, "Oh, the kid thinking of monsters," and they'd be throwing this away. In this universe, they are like, "There are monsters. We need to go to someplace in Louisiana, find a clubhouse. We need a battalion," and everybody's okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an incredible movie to look back on and just be like, because I was watching it last night and I was thinking like, there were some scenes like, I think it was the montage scene especially, but it was just these scenes where I was just like, wow, man, as a kid, I really was just like, yeah, rock until you drop, and just get, and now I'm like,
great.
yeah,
I listened to the whole Monster Squad rap at the end when
Yeah.
it's like, we're the Monster Squad. And then it goes into a whole rap.
Yeah.
I was there for it. I was in. I was in.
I want to say about the music that it's. I'm surprised there's not a dance involved with that rap, right? Like it's like Michael Scarn, like you jump to the left and you shake a hand. Like that's what I thought when I heard that song. I'm like, this is straight out of Threat Level Midnight. This is where it comes from. This is the most appropriate tie-in, and it's just those two songs. That's it.
Yeah.
You only get Rock Until You Stop, and then the rap. My thought is, why wouldn't you put the rap over the montage? Like, I get that the montage, you want that upbeat kind of thing, but it feels like they're doing the Monster Squad type stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that Rock Until You Drop, you got to get that in there. You got to get that, especially when you're making. Yeah, let's talk about this for a second.
Okay.
So Rudy, who is a character I think we need to get into.
Yeah.
But while they're doing a montage of getting ready to fight the monsters, the only person who is really getting ready to fight the monsters is Rudy, who is the older character, who's about 14. For some reason, unknown, decides to hang out with these kids. And
he's got a banana seat on his bike. Yeah.
He's got a banana seat on his bike. He is in a leather jacket, a white t-shirt, jeans cuffed at the bottom.
Loafers.
He didn't do the Kelly from Bad News Bears dirt bike. He's just doing a regular bike. But he's smoking cigarettes. Gotta give him that. Very 80s. Kids, just so you know, we used to smoke in the 80s. Like, I went to a high school that Scott went to, and guess what? At 10 a.m., there were breaks, and like
first
at 10
break.
and like 1, it'd be like, oh yeah, you can go out, and people would go out and smoke. And I don't mean 900 feet from the school. I mean just outside the door, you'd be smoking a dart with your geometry teacher. Like this happened.
Yeah. No, we had a smoking section, or not designated smoking section, but we had our school had a big parking lot in front, but then it had a smaller one in the back. And when you break at 10 o'clock, we'd go out, and not me, I didn't smoke, but my friends would go out, and sometimes they'd just smoke cigarettes out there at break at school. And it was like I don't think you could even mention the word cigarette around schools now.
No, I think you're absolutely. And I did not smoke. Just a heads up, I was a complete nerd. I did not smoke. I hung out with some people who did smoke, and I would go out and just inhale secondhand smoke, which is probably going to catch up to me in about 10 years. But yeah, people would smoke, and it was like, yeah, you're in school, but you got to go smoke. I mean, you're only 15, but come on now. Everybody needs their parliaments.
The thing about this too is that it was in the 80s. This movie was in the 80s, so there's a lot. I mean, on my other podcast, we always talk about, especially 80s movies, we always talk about the amount of probably cocaine that was involved in making all of these decisions. And we did, I think it was last year, no, the year before last, we did this movie called Silver Bullet. Have you ever seen that movie, Chris?
Oh, read the book.
Yeah.
Read the short story by King, Stephen King.
Yeah, so we did that movie, and there's this part in there where he's driving his motorized wheelchair. No helmet, like doing like 60 miles an hour on this thing. Mind you, he can't use his legs. And he doesn't seem to have any kind of stability thing, because he's always up on like a wheel when he's turning corners and stuff. And we just kind of came to this conclusion, like, this is a cocaine idea. This is like, all right, well, yeah, do that. Yeah. More of that. And so I feel like in this movie that there was probably a couple of things of like that. Because there's, like you said, there's this idea that this is a small town, but yet it has like this big canyon-looking thing, or a ridge, and it has a police department and a museum, and there was just like, I feel like a lot of people creative people that made this movie were probably like, yeah, give them, yeah, do that, and just because it's just absurd the amount of times you're going like, wait, what?
Well, also,
Especially as an adult.
Yeah, like the Burger King's open at 11:30 on a Tuesday night in the middle of town. It's like, wait, what? Why is there a Burger King there? Who made that choice? What franchisee was like, yeah, this is where I want to put my Burger King? A lot of foot traffic going around. So like the movie has that there's an amulet and it's going to end the world.
We got to talk about this.
Yeah. And it could save the world. And for an hour, every 100 years, either evil can destroy the amulet or good can destroy all the evil. But if the good is going to destroy evil, they have to say this incantation in German to create this vortex that takes all the evil to another realm. It has to be read by a virgin, but it does not specify a female virgin. So half of this movie is these kids trying to find a virgin when they are all clearly virgins. Guys, listen, I did the whole my girlfriend lives in Canada thing. We all know it's bullshit. You're 11 years old. You're not supposed to have already had sex. It's okay, guys.
Yeah.
It's okay. Just one of you read it.
Well, and it goes back to the opening, the prologue thing or whatever. How did they mess up? It says they blew it, and it's like, well, how did they blow it? They got the girl to do the incantation. The thing opened up. Like, how did they blow it? Like, that's what I don't understand too in terms of that beginning.
The only thing about that, because at the beginning, Van Helsing and his guys go into Dracula's castle. They kill some things. They read the incantation. These monsters come up, and then it stops, and it makes it feel like they didn't do it, but clearly they did. The only thing that I think was missing was apparently all the monsters you want to take need to be within 100 yards, which is clearly not stated in the instructions.
Exactly.
I got to give Van Helsing a pass on this.
Yeah.
I mean, he did everything he was supposed to. He's like, how do I know there's this thing only has a 50-yard range?
Yeah. Well, he's like, there's a deleted scene where he's reading a manual and he's like, there's some pages missing. And so they ended up cutting that.
His assistant spilled some coffee on it earlier, and he's like, "Wait, what? The pages were stuck together."
That's exactly where.
Anytime there's an incantation like they're reading, someone always takes the time to go faster. It's like, do you want me to read or do you want me to go? You're interrupting me here, sir.
Right.
Well, also, at one point, one of the girls is Patrick's older sister, who is 17, and they get her because they only want a female virgin because none of them want to admit they're virgins.
Right.
To read it. But she's not really reading it. She's repeating the words the German guy is saying, which is fine. Yeah. However, she is stopping to argue with him. That to me means you got to start at the beginning. Yeah. It's like an alarm code. You can't just I can't hit the pound symbol and then go back. No, I ended. I got to start again.
That's a good point, man, because he does that with the little girl eventually, right?
Right.
And she has no problem. She's repeating it and everything like that. That's that whole amulet thing. Really, again, I think it was. There's so many holes in that thing, in the plot around that thing, anyways. But
to begin, Dracula just has it out in the open. He's has it on display. You walk in the front door, it's like, oh, here's this very important amulet that could destroy me and everything that I've built. Right here.
He's got it in his little cavern down in the basement, and he's just like, what does he say? I can't remember where he goes.
Something along those lines. But so Van Helsing's team, someone went in after they blew it and took the amulet and then was like, I'm going to hide this in Louisiana 100 years later. And they build this house, which I got to say, I know that house was in disrepair, but that's a lot of property that is a nice house. Someone's going to flip that and make
Yeah,
a
that's
ton of
exactly what I
cash.
was thinking. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
High
it's like
flip
the house
value.
from The Notebook. That's what I
Yes.
was thinking. Same
Yeah.
area.
It's but like, okay, so he finds the amulet, but there's all these crosses and stuff. So I get why, like, okay, he can't go in there. Bro, you got a werewolf, you
Yeah,
got a Frankenstein monster, you got a mummy, you got a creature of the Black Lagoon. Someone's gonna go in there and grab that thing, and just go, okay, now I'm gonna throw this in like a bag or something until I can destroy it.
right.
Like, what are you
And
doing?
it's the 80s. They also had those long, claw grabber things too. You could have gone to that magazine novelty store and just bought one of those.
Yeah.
Or dinosaur head, the little T-Rex ones. Just okay, reach it again.
Yeah, exactly. So many things. Yeah. What else we got here?
I want to go back to Rudy a little bit because
Okay.
he's
Yeah.
he's cool enough that he's able to make the bully eat ground candy, but he's not cool enough. But he's not cool enough to have his own group of friends to hang out with, like the cool level of friends he wants to hang
Yeah.
out with these kids.
I think he's like the black sheep of his. It makes it look like, and this is my impressions of him when I was a kid was, oh, he must be in like juvenile hall and all
Right.
that kind of stuff.
Yes. Yeah, totally. You get the impression that he's the bad boy, which I'm
Right.
totally cool with. But they
Right.
needed to put a reason why he would have hung out with like, it's obvious he's there to talk to Horace. So at first I was like, oh, he knows where their clubhouse is, and he wants to look to see if he can see pictures of Patrick's sister. And so I thought that, but then he seems pretty, oh, there's a person
Yeah.
next door. So that didn't work.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of
That's
like,
your sister? Yeah.
that's your sister. And that's also, so for those, there's a scene in the clubhouse where they are quizzing Rudy on monster trivia. Rudy is looking out the window at the house next door. There is an attractive girl who is undressing, and he finds out it is one of the members, Patrick's older sister. He then sets up a camera.
Yeah, he has to come back with that camera with intent because he starts with binoculars.
He then takes pictures. He then gets them developed at a store. He then shows these pictures of Patrick's older sister nude to Frankenstein's monster. And all the other kids are trying to look at the picture, including Patrick. What is happening?
Hey, let me interject something here. Were you the type of person like I was who tried to pause it when he flips it up and he goes, there's a special 2-for-1 at the Photoshop or
Fox
whatever it
Photo.
is. Yeah, he flips it for like a frame, and I tried to pause. Because back in the VHSs, when you press the pause, it didn't pause right away. It was like
Yeah.
pause, and then you would.
You had to time that. You would-
That was me.
I want to correct something though. I think Frankenstein technically took the picture of her.
Oh, that's
I
right.
think
Oh, that's right.
he was trying to. He had all the intent, and he kept getting interrupted and whatever.
Bogus. Yeah.
And then Frankenstein bogus. He's the one that actually took the picture. So he's
And yeah, so I would just spent, I think, I don't know, probably hours. I was just that kind of kid. But yeah, that was my goal, is to try to figure out. And I heard, I read somewhere, I think in like some trivia thing, that it wasn't even a picture of that. It's a picture of like two people holding hands or something like that. So yeah,
You were like, no.
yeah.
you're like, well, I'm already halfway there. Just gonna keep going.
But I don't know about you guys, but watching this movie when I was a kid, and Steve probably, because you didn't watch it until you were a fully formed adult and go,
Yeah.
saw it. But for me and Steve, watching it, Rudy was super cool. Rudy
Yeah.
was like, that dude, first of all, besides him being kind of the juvenile, he's wearing the leather coat and everything, he's a badass. He takes out the mummy. He kills the vampire brides. There's 3 of them.
Yeah.
He kills the werewolf.
He kills the mummy.
Yeah, he's no joke. Like,
Yeah.
Rudy's pretty spot on. But the actor who played him before he did Rudy, he was in a show called Kids Incorporated. Yes.
Yeah. I only saw. Did you watch that at all? A lot?
Oh, I did.
Oh, you did. I only saw like an episode or two because it wasn't really that big around here in the Bay Area. So it was always like you had to go to like a channel that I barely got. There's a lot of this was before cable, so this was like you go to this channel and it's like snowy and you can barely hear, and so I didn't see it a lot.
Yeah, no. So it was about this, if I'm right, because it's been a second since I saw it. Well, first of all, Fergie was in it.
Oh, really?
But she was like 7. But it was about this group of kids that would perform at this, like, it was a club / diner, kind of like a Peach Pit, if you will, except every 10 minutes, these kids would go on stage completely breaking child labor laws, and they would sing songs. And he was one of the singers in the band. Mario Lopez, I think, was in it at one point.
Really?
Yeah, so it was one of those things. But I remember watching Monster Squad and being like, oh, that kid from Kids Incorporated is in it.
Yeah.
And then I don't think really did much after this.
Yeah.
I know he's one of the people who is really wanting there to be a sequel.
Yeah.
Or a remake.
Remake, yeah.
But I
well,
don't.
let me ask this question to both of you. Let me chime in. If there was a remake, how would you do that, or maybe even a sequel? How would you even propose that? What's your proposal for that? Do you guys have any ideas?
It's the year is 2087. And they're all robots. They're all just brains. They're old brains, and they're all robots.
With their face. Yeah.
But Dracula and all the Universal monsters are the same. They're all physical forms. They're there, and now it's robots versus Universal monsters.
And you know what? That sounds great. I'm into that one.
I would do that.
The rules are there. 100 years. That's
sci-fi,
what we have to wait.
Yeah, sci-fi mixed with some fantasy horror. Yeah, that's.
Or one of the pages. When he does pry apart the pages of the menu, is like, oh, wait a second. It's not 50 years. It's 40.
We missed it. Damn it. Yeah. How about you, Chris? Do you got any ideas?
I mean, I think a remake would probably be great. My only fear is I would love to see more practical effects rather than them just, kind of doing, CGI. But I think you could do it. I think you'd have to have another setting. Maybe put it in an actual city and have, Dracula get hit by a car the first time he lands. He's like, what the hell? What? Yeah, can we also talk
by
about
a Waymo?
Yeah, Dracula has a car in this.
Yeah,
how does he even know what a car is?
He's
invisible.
That's like Spider-Man having a car.
Well, in his coffin, he has all those car books, and he's just like, oh, okay,
yeah.
Ooh, that's nice. I want one of those.
I've been
little bets I'm reading.
1932 Roadster with a skull.
Shall be mine.
Yeah.
After I part with $3,200 in repairs.
Well, so one person that I think totally makes this movie is, what's his name is Stan Shaw.
Stan Shaw.
He plays the partner of the dad. He's a cop. He's a detective.
He just recently passed. Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, in the last 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
I remember he was in a bunch of he's definitely that guy.
Yeah.
I've seen in the movies before. He's great as the partner. The interview he gives in the museum with the guard is amazing.
Damn. Oh, well, I'm all out. You have any ideas? Yeah. I'm glad you find this funny. Yeah.
No? Was the last shot. Let's go be firemen. What? He's just constantly just throwing out liners.
He was also in this other movie that I want to do for my other channel, which is Runaway with Tom Selleck. Do you remember that movie?
Oh yes, I know
Yeah.
Runaway with Tom
He was
Selleck.
he was the partner in that movie too,
Yeah,
but he was
and
much more serious. But yeah, it was the
he
same
was
kind
the
of.
serious one in that. But if you're gonna do Runaway, I mean, you got to talk about Gene Simmons and his commitment to the villain role, and him screaming out. I can't remember Tom Selleck's character's name. He's
Oh,
just constantly.
Jesus. I can figure it out. I'm on IMDb right here. Let's see. Runaway.
Sorry, it'll be not.
No, I can edit. Editing is. Ooh, Runaway. Tom Selleck. This came out in '84.
Yeah.
Tom Selleck is Ramsey.
Yeah, Ramsey. That's all.
These are only the templates. Or whatever. I don't
Where's
know.
the templates, Ramsey? It's like Gene Simmons. How much cocaine did you have during this?
That movie, I think, was a cocaine fever dream.
Oh yeah.
That whole Runaway movie was.
Well,
Just,
Gene Simmons goes for it. Oh, so far, I'm sure the producers was like, should we have got Ace Frehley or Peter Criss? Was Paul Stanley busy? What about Eric Carr, one of the members of Kiss? Could we have gotten somebody besides this guy?
Yeah. I think he was. This was in his phase of acting too, because he did a couple other movies, but he just wasn't. I mean, I thought he was fine in this movie. He wasn't as menacing as I'd like, but this wasn't really like a Oscar movie. Anyways, yeah. Getting off track here.
So one thing I did want to bring up regarding the Monster Squad, this was co-written by Shane Black, who did Lethal Weapon 1, Lethal Weapon 2, wrote those. He wrote The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yeah.
He wrote and directed Iron Man 3. He also did two movies that I love called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang
Yes.
and The Nice Guys.
Oh
which are
yeah.
just two great buddy cop movies.
I'm still waiting on the sequel for The Nice Guys, because that movie, I think, in today's age, I'm not a big fan of like every IP needs to be a trilogy, but I feel like this movie kind of warranted something.
Yeah.
In the lines of like Lethal Weapon, of like these two, a detective and what was he was a cop and a detective. I can't remember what it was.
One's a PI, they're both PIs. But I think Russell Crowe's character had been a cop before.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, it's there for the, it's right for the taking right there. I think for that movie, but yeah.
Yeah,
those are
really
great movies too.
Yeah, great movie. And Shane Black, I mean, really good writer. I think Scott, you mentioned, I think it didn't do well at the box office. It cost, I think, $12 million to make Monster Squad. It made only like $3 million. I don't know how video affected that. That's another thing, kids. If you're listening, when a movie got released, it could do bad, and then it could go on video and literally make more than its money back. It would almost be like a whole second release.
That's what happened with this one, I think, and it went out of print for a while too, because I remember the one that I bought at that WonderCon with Scott. It was just a copy of a Laserdisc version, and so that's what a lot of people did, was just burn the Laserdisc disc edition onto a DVD, and then it's pirated, but you got the quality of the Laserdisc and everything. And so it wasn't until after I bought that that one of the cast, I think, he was at some con, and they were like, what, he goes, anytime I go to a con, all the fans are like, where's this movie? We can't find the movie. Put it back in print. And so whoever distributes this movie put it out, and I got it when it came out. It was like, I want to say, I don't even remember, but it was pretty close after when I got that pirated version. And it had all these special features on it too, and it's packed away somewhere.
DVD was like 20th anniversary or something like
that.
Yeah. I have that, either the DVD or the Blu-ray with all the special features and the commentary.
Yeah,
which I watched with the commentary. And the director talks about the initial script that Shane Black wrote, because I think it was one of his first screenplays, had like Van Helsing as his team in an air balloon. I
saw that.
It was this whole thing, and he was like, they were like, but they're never going to make that. And he goes, but it'd be cool if they did, so let's just write it.
Yeah. I mean, Fred Dekker too. He did RoboCop 3. Night of the Creeps, which he was working on when he started, I think, writing this. And then he was the co-writer of The Predator, the one that came out in 2018. And then he just did a bunch of Star Trek and Tales from the Crypt stuff. So yeah, he's him and who was the Shane Black. Yeah, him and Shane Black were roommates. So that's how they knew each other. So yeah,
and I think Shane Black actually directed that Predator movie as well. Yeah. I'm trying to find out if I saw that one.
It's that one. Yeah, I didn't like it only because what made the Predator so appealing as a character, it was that he was fallible. So you could shoot him, he could like make mistakes, fall out of a tree or whatever. And then in the 18 one, the Predator that they came back with, they were shooting him and they couldn't kill him, and he was huge, and it was just like, okay, whatever.
And Shane Black actually was in Predator.
Was he?
He plays.
Oh, that's right.
Hawkins with the glasses, who I think he's one of the first people to die.
Yeah, he is, because they wanted him on. This is what I read. They wanted him on set for rewrites if they needed it. So they wrote him in and then killed him off first, so he could stay on set and help with any rewrites that they needed. So yeah.
Yeah. No. And yeah. So. Jumping back, I think the only other notes that I had on this one is, there's just as we were talking about before, there's some definitely 80s like, oh geez, they're using some. There's just a lot of. If I was a parent, I would watch this first. There's just a lot of terminology that was used freely in the 80s.
Yes.
Have learned and been like, it's not really great to be. I would just have that. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, one last thing I'll say is like I was saying before we started, we did 48 Hours yesterday for my other podcast. And that one has, it's Eddie Murphy, Nick Nolte. And so you have Nick Nolte, dropping the N-word and all the other slurs that come with it, and Eddie Murphy is just kind of, and there's a lot of misogyny in that one too, as well, and so it's just, I think for me, it's like, if you're big fans of Bill Murray or Chevy Chase, you like the movies that they're in the 80s and stuff, and then you hear about all this other stuff. I think me and Scott were talking about this one time. And for me, I'm just able to kind of appreciate the 80s because I grew up in it and I loved all the movies. Whereas if they came out now, it would just be like, what is this?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's really funny. I always like, because my wife never watched a lot of like these kind of movies in the 80s.
Right.
So a movie that I loved was a movie called The Warriors.
Oh yeah, we did that.
Okay,
Scott.
Mm-hmm. So Warriors is just amazing. Love that movie. So one night I said to my wife, I was like, we're gonna watch this. It's gonna be great. And she sat through it and she was like, that was horrible.
Yeah.
And she's like, there's a gang on roller skates. Are you supposed to be afraid of that? And it's like, okay, so I think some of it is like nostalgia, like you kind of take it back.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I thought you were going to bring up Revenge of the Nerds. That's what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah.
Because that's really problematic now.
Yeah, that's super problematic. Revenge of the Nerds is probably
and it was one of my sick movies. Like when I stayed home from school sick, it's one of those I would pop on. So I've seen that movie a million times and I loved it. I memorized the rap at the end, and it was like, and now like all these years later, it's really hard for me to watch.
Yeah, that's a tough watch. Yeah. So I would just say if you're a parent and you're watching, if you're going to show this to your kids, just kind of, especially the first 10 minutes, there's just there's terminology that you're like, what the heck is going on here? And that's a little concerning. But yeah, definitely plenty of parental neglect with, his Sean, the main character's parents. And apparently, being a cop, even if it's in a small Louisiana town that has a police force that's way over budget, is really hard.
Yeah.
It's just difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you got? What do you got, Scott?
The thing that I would end on is a question to the two of you about this is a movie that's not, it's too kiddie for adults and it's too adult for kids.
Right.
That's what it's been described as.
Yeah.
Do you think that movies like this should lean more heavy into the adult aspect of it? Because to me, my view is everyone's been a kid before. So if you lean into that adult aspect of it and you leave the kids talking like adults, the adults are going to want to see it more. And also the kids are going to want to see it more because it's a movie that they're not supposed to see.
Right.
Well,
Plus,
do
it
you
has
think
kids
that falls
in
in
it.
line?
Go ahead, Chris. Yeah.
No, I would agree. I think you're 100% on it. I think that's probably why it didn't kind of maybe do as well, because if you're a parent, you're like, what am I going to take this? And if you're a kid, you're like, and also, it was PG-13, which I think Gremlins and
Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom brought about the PG-13. I think that was 85. So this might have been like one of the first movies that had that rating. And so if you're a parent, you're like, oh, this is PG-13. What's that going to be about?
Yeah. And I was 13 when this came out. So this, for me, this kind of hit because I feel like a lot of the kids I was around the same age, I guess. I felt like, I mean, even though they do seem a little younger, like I would say like 10-ish, 11. I don't know, but I just felt like, oh, these are kids my age and we could, so that's why I loved it. But yeah, I can see that I saw, even watching it last night, I saw that, that kind of dichotomy, I guess, what you call it, of like having it being a kids movie with kids, but yet they talk like adults. And I was just thinking, how do you reconcile that in terms of marketing? Like where do you market it to? So, yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys. It's just, yeah.
One thing I will say, I'd like to admit that when I saw this the first time, or I saw this when I was a kid. So there's a scene at the end. They open the vortex. All the creatures are getting sucked through. I would just like to also say some cops.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
So think about that. You're like, I'm working at a small town police force. This is great. I get called in. Some guy in a cape kicks the shit out of me. I'm on the ground unconscious. Then I get sucked through a portal, and now I'm in limbo for at least 100 years.
What did I do?
What did I do?
I got a broken arm. They don't have an HMO.
And guess what? A corpse of a werewolf is here. Three vampire brides.
Yeah.
And there's an old guy fighting Dracula still. And there's Frankenstein's monsters holding a stuffed animal. What the hell is this?
This old German dude is giving a thumbs up.
Yeah, that was the other
The
thing
universal sign for 100 years that everything is good.
Yes, I wrote this down. How does Van Helsing know what a thumbs up is? And so at the movie, Dracula gets pulled into the portal, and somehow Van Helsing, who's still alive because apparently there's no time, grabs Dracula and gives Sean a thumbs up. How does he know what a thumbs up is? Is this dimension?
I would have given him this.
Yeah.
This is. What? What are you doing here? Thumbing for a ride? Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get out of here. I've been trapped here for 100 years. Yeah, and so what I was going to say is that watching this, when Frankenstein's monster gets pulled into it, the main character Sean's little sister, who's like 5, is like, "Please don't go, please don't go." I was crying when I was a kid. Watching this, I was so like that. I don't know if it was the music. I don't know if it was just I was soft. I was just like, oh my god,
Scraps.
I was like,
She threw scraps.
Scraps, stay with it.
Phoebe. Yeah. So
Yeah, no, it was definitely interesting, and I think the only other thing I had is that so Sean's mom finds the diary of Van Helsing
right.
for Sean, picks it up
Yeah.
at a bargain
Yeah.
at the garage sale. Great mom. How does Dracula know that there's a diary?
Mm-hmm.
How does he know that Sean has the diary? And then finally, why does he care about the diary? He was there. He knows everything. And also, if you're going to buy the diary, how about you use John Smith and not trade Dracula and just How long were you working on that, bro?
Not since Nilbog has a backwards name been used so successfully.
Like, you didn't even go with Dr. Acula.
Yeah.
Like, something along those lines. It's just backwards.
And get a different accent, get a southern accent in there, and be like, hey, just looking for my mild buck, or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Hello, I believe your son Sean has a diary written by this Van Helsing character. Could I perhaps purchase it back? Like, something along, hey, I have an idea. Have the werewolf guy during the day who you drugged up make a call.
Yeah.
I don't understand why he needed to know. So,
These are the hard-hitting questions that we just... God damn it.
One thing I'd like to see at the end of the movie, right? Because we always get these movies where it's, we're the monster squad, and then it cuts and it starts pulling away or whatever from town square, and they're all like celebrating. I would like Stan Shaw's wife, now widow, to walk and be like, have you guys seen him? Have you guys seen my husband? Because this guy just exploded in a car from dynamite. Pieces of him everywhere.
Right.
And at the end, they're all just happy. It's like, oh, I got my family. It's like, what about your partner's wife? What about his family?
She's like, damn you all. Wait, what? We just saved the world. Yeah.
Why is the Burger King still open?
Let's go get some Whoppers, kids. On me. On the German guy who they have to put in. I know the little thing about monsters. It shows he has Auschwitz tattoos on him. And it's like, is this a kid's movie? Is it an adult? Where did that piece come from?
As a kid, I had no idea what that meant. I was like,
See, what I thought was funny as a kid, there's a scene where Dracula is going to stop the girl from or get the amulet from the girl.
Yeah.
And the scary German guy and kids, just so you know, we're not calling him scary German guy because we're lazy and we didn't look at IDMB. Look it up. That's straight up the character.
That kid, scary German guy.
That kid, scary German guy. We worked in generalities in the 80s, so just deal. But he is going towards him, and the scary German guy starts to say things in German to Dracula. And when I was a kid, I was like, oh my God, is he like a wizard? Is he doing an incantation? Because then Dracula lights up the guy's chest with something. But I think in seeing it yesterday, it looks like he's just telling him to go away, vampire, or something along that. I think the only other thing I want to say, just quick behind the scenes. So there's a scene in the movie where Dracula picks up the girl of 5 and picks her up by his fingers. And he's like, give me the amulet, you bitch. And she starts to, and then he shows his eyes, and his eyes are now blood red.
Yeah.
Apparently, he never showed her the eyes or the teeth.
The teeth, yeah.
And then went until they were actually filming.
Yeah.
And so her screams and her fear are straight up legitimate. And to Scott's point, there's been a lot of people who've played Dracula. he does really good Dracula performance.
Yeah, he's ranked the best in some list. I can't remember. I looked up this thing, but he's ranked the best Dracula portrayal. It's like number 30 or something. I can't remember, and it's his version that they're rating. So
Yeah,
yeah, he did it. Yeah,
It's just evil Dracula. That's straight evil. No, no Leslie Nielsen, dead and loving it puns. Nothing like
no,
that.
I've crossed oceans of time. None of that.
Find you.
Yeah, there's no showing his wang for dramatic effect. It's
Someone
just
just saw Nosferatu.
it's just bad. It's burned in my brain. I can't get rid of it. It's like 28 dongs later. Anytime there's all these wangs in these movies nowadays.
Yeah.
Well, Monster Squad. I mean, I think we'd all recommend it to anybody that either likes 80s movies or horror movies, like any combination there. Anyone that was a kid, which is most of us. It's a great film. It does it hold up? Yeah, it holds up. It's got a lot of good elements there. Yeah, there's the cringe elements to some of the phrasing and things in there, but you've got a good plot, although there's definitely loopholes there. You have to suspend your disbelief, but it's a movie about monsters. It's a movie about kids fighting monsters. You're already doing that.
Yeah.
You're not asking, you're not asking the deep questions on this. You just want to see, Wolfman getting kicked in the nards. Like that's what you want with this movie. And what did everybody out there think? Did you watch Monster Squad and go, yeah, this is a masterpiece? Or were you like, Chris's wife watching The Warriors, where you're like, this, I don't have the nostalgia there. This isn't that great when you look at it just on its face value. Let us know. We've got comment sections all over the place, Instagram, YouTube, all those different places. We like to hear your thoughts, so let us know there. Chris, thanks for joining us this week. Great to have you on here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Stick around, Chris, because after this is over.
Yeah.
Got it.
So until next time, next week, next session, remember, we're not mad. We're just disappointed. We'll see you again on whatever this is called.